Yes, indeed. Condolences and sympathies continue to pour in like a torrent for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who passed on today. And of course, previously we've seen a lot of messages coming from within the country and without. The entire world is standing in solidarity with Kenya in mourning the passing on of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And any moment from now also, we shall be, of course, beaming straight from Karen, where we have the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who is now the chair of the National Funeral Committee, and he will be just updating us on what will be happening. And there you have the pictures from Karen. Any moment from now, we shall, of course, be interrupting this particular broadcast to head over to Karen to just get a feel and flavor of what we are expecting from Karen. Moving on, remember the president has also declared 7 days of mourning. The flags also will be flying at half-mast, and he also has ordered that all motorcades, government officials, and any person who is warranted by the law to be, of course, hoisting the flag of Kenya on their cars to actually have that removed. And we saw earlier pictures of the president, his motorcade also retrieving or removing that particular flag. So the country has been mourning. We've seen so many messages, and we shall be, of course, pouring that for you also, beaming here from the studio. And we shall be discussing intensely, just reflecting back of a man that has had the consolidation of democracy and deepening of democracy in this country from the go-getting, sacrificially living his life for Kenya. And now he has passed on. We remember, we remiss, and of course we are totally gutted by this news of his passing on. All right, earlier on also we had just the president, just to give you an inkling of where we're coming from before we even settle down to just discuss. We had this particular statement, the presidential statement from the president himself, and I want just to beam that for you so that we can just give you an indication of where we are coming from. And it says, if the director will just pick it up briefly, the former Prime Minister's central role in shepherding Kenya into a new constitutional dispensation is a towering legacy that immortalizes him. Kenya is undoubtedly a much better place today because of the struggle, sacrifice, leadership, vision, and courage of a son of the soil who never tired in pursuit of a better Kenya. So we want just to listen in.
Justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity, and a statesman of boundless selflessness. In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation, I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Ida, his children, Rosemary, Raila Jr., and Winnie, the entire Odinga family, led by my brother Oburu Oginga.
Yeah, that is just a snippet of earlier, the president just making the formal announcement of the passing on of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And of course, even as this was happening, we just want to show you the pictures earlier in the day that we had him, of course, in India, and now we have also the casket that is bearing his body. We know him as an opposition leader who had waged, of course, 5 unsuccessful presidential campaigns. And there we have the pictures. This is in India, where we have his body in the ambulance that is bearing the remains, that is the casket bearing his remains. And he had suffered a heart attack. That is the Devamanta Hospital in the southern India state of Kerala, which confirmed to, of course, the media today about his passing on. And we know him as a dominant force in our politics. And we also know that his death will leave a significant leadership vacuum within the country's political opposition ahead of the elections in 2027. But everyone now is putting aside 2027 and sinking in the moment. And we saw earlier also pictures from different parts of the country where people are in a mourning state, just remembering him. Also, they came out in force in Karen as well to just condole with the family, Mama Ida, where they were overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and affection from Kenyans, until we had also the Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, trying to implore the public to try and refrain themselves from going to Karen at this particular moment. There you can see is the casket bearing the body of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And this is from the Devamanta Hospital in the southern Indian state of Kerala, where he was receiving his treatment. And we are expecting the body to be arriving in the country from tomorrow. Earlier on, we saw also the Prime Cabinet Secretary, that is Musalia Mudavadi, departing to India. They are airborne right now as we speak, leading a government and family delegation to repatriate the remains of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. That is expected in the country tomorrow, so we're eagerly waiting to see that also happening tomorrow. A lot of delegates, government officials, politicians, legislators, of course, they're airborne right now, almost 30 of them. We saw them at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport lounge, just waiting to board the plane and go and receive the body of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And just to remind you, any moment from now, of course, when we come back, we shall be expecting a statement from the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who is now officially the chair of the National Funeral Committee, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who will be telling us or informing and priming the country on what is the way forward. Here in studio, we shall be analyzing, just looking and hacking back into the life and history of Raila Odinga, and how he has paid the price, how he has given his life and selfishly, and he has fought for the installation, the consolidation and the deepening of democracy in this country. And we shall just look at him as a liberator, him as a peacemaker, and him as an enigma. And of course, joining with me momentarily, we have a senator of Kisii. This is Richard Onyonka. Also, the senator of Nyamira is here with us. We shall be joined as well by Jennifer Shamala, who is a former member of parliament. And we shall just hear from their perspective, especially from the ODM, who we had Raila Odinga leading them as their party leader. We want to head over now to Karen, where I'm just trying to crane my neck and look behind there on the split. We have, of course, them prepping up, and they will be giving us that particular information that we are eagerly awaiting for moving forward. And we can see that is a lectern there where the Deputy President will be speaking from any moment from now, flanked by government officials there, the Cabinet Secretary of Cooperatives. We have also the elder brother of Raila Odinga, that is Senator Oburu there, looking whippy-teary. Just behind him as well, we have Ed Ndwale, the Cabinet Secretary of Health, and we have also the Principal Secretary of Interior, Raymond Molo there. We have the AG as well. We have the Member of Parliament from Rarieda, Otende Molo also. We have Melio Thiambo, and we have, I can see, just craning my neck, Dr. James Nyikal there, as the camera is panning out there, is the Deputy President. Let's just listen in as he speaks to the public.
Kenyans, good evening. I think we are all in a state of disorientation. Good evening. I take this opportunity to welcome you to this press briefing by the National Committee on the state funeral of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Fellow Kenyans, as you're aware, today His Excellency President William Ruto made a presidential proclamation announcing the passing on of the former Prime Minister of Kenya and leader of ODM, the Honorable Raila Odinga. The President announced a number of decisions arising out of earlier meetings which were convened during the day, first with the family of our departed leader, later on with the National Security Council and the Cabinet. After deliberations and consultations, it has been directed that a national committee on the state funeral of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga be established. It is also important to reiterate that the government of Kenya has decided to give the Honorable Raila Odinga a state funeral, and that is why this committee will be co-chaired by the Deputy President and the Honorable Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, the elder brother of our departed leader. The other members of this committee from the Cabinet: CS Wycliffe Oparanya, CS for Cooperatives and MSMEs; CS Soipan Tuya, CS for Defense; CS Eden Duale, CS for Health; and the Attorney General, Rokas Oduor. From the family, besides the co-chairperson, Senator Oburu, Dr. Wenwa Akinyi Oginga, William Ojonyo, Elijah Oburu, and Joe Ager, Doctor. From the ODM party, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, the Governor of Kisumu County; Governor Gladys Wanga, who is also the National Chairperson of ODM; Governor James Orengo of Siaya; Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir of Mombasa, and Governor Simba Arati of Kisii. From the Senate, Minority Leader Senator Justice Stewart Mazayo and Senator Godfrey Otsotsi. From the National Assembly, the Minority Whip Junet Mohammed, Minority Leader and former Minority Whip Junet Mohammed, the current Minority Whip Millie Odhiambo, Dr. James Nyikal, Dr. Otiende Amolo, and Dr. Lillian Gogo. The secretary to the committee will be the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration, Dr. Raymond Amolo. It is also important to note that the government has dispatched a high-level team consisting of government officials, family, and party officials to travel this evening to India to retrieve and bring back home the remains of our departed leader. That team already has been announced by the President. It is led by the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. It has members of the Cabinet. It has members of the party, governors, and other senior officials and family members. And therefore, what has been decided is to share responsibilities. So some of you may be asking why so and so not part of this. So we have shared responsibilities. Some are helping us to go and do that important task, and the others have been left behind to speed up the arrangements for the next steps. His Excellency the President has declared 7 days of mourning, and the flags will fly at half-mast for the next 7 days within the Republic of Kenya and all the diplomatic missions abroad. It is expected that we will move very quickly in the next few hours and few days for the reason which has been communicated to us by the family of the late Prime Minister following consultations between the family and the family lawyer. We have been advised as a committee by the family that it was the wish of the Honorable Raila Odinga to be buried within the shortest time possible following his demise. And the family has informed this committee that that timeline is 72 hours. The family has also advised the committee that given that the Prime Minister died outside the country, and notwithstanding the very short period within which this process must be concluded, we are advised that the family and the ex-committee will give respect to the wishes of the late Prime Minister as far as possible, but at the same time accommodate any other nuances and contexts that are important, considering the family values and the community and society values for which the Honorable Raila Odinga stood for. In that connection, it has been decided, therefore, we will have an expedited process that balances the wishes of the departed Prime Minister the wishes of his family, but also the community and other imperatives that must be taken into context. In that regard, it is expected that the aircraft that has left Nairobi a few hours ago will make touchdown in Mumbai at 1 a.m. local time. Will have a ground time of 2 hours and make a turnaround to arrive in Nairobi approximately 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Upon arrival, the body will be received at the airport by His Excellency the President, members of the family, and other officials, escorted to Lee Funeral Home, and at 12 o'clock, the body will be moved to the parliamentary buildings at the Central Business District. And in Parliament, there will be the public viewing of the body of the departed Prime Minister tomorrow from 12 noon to 5 p.m. in the evening. At the same time, this committee has decided to help members of the public, supporters, friends of the late Prime Minister who may not make it to some of the events that will be happening tomorrow and the days to come, with public places from which they can watch all the proceedings from tomorrow's arrival to the other events that will follow until the final rituals and the final rites in the interment of our late leader. In that connection, therefore, public grieving spaces will be created in various places, especially within Nairobi, and also in other areas, as will be announced, where members of the public can follow proceedings on big screens and participate in grieving and mourning our departed leader. After the public viewing of the body in Parliament tomorrow, the body will return to Lee Funeral Home. On Friday, from 8 a.m., there will be a state funeral service of the late Honorable Raila Odinga at Nyayo Stadium. And this state funeral service is expected to be attended by dignitaries and VVIPs from outside Kenya. It is a state event, and it will be conducted in accordance with the protocols of state events to give respect to the stature of our foreign hero. That state funeral service, once concluded, will then lead to the body being moved to the current home of the Honorable Raila Odinga for overnight stay. On Saturday, the body will leave Nairobi for Kisumu early in the morning There shall be public viewing of the body of the late Prime Minister at Moi Stadium in Kisumu City between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, after which the body will travel by road from Kisumu City to Bondo for overnight stay. The burial of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga will take place on Sunday and will be conducted according to the traditions of the Anglican Church to which the Honorable Raila Odinga belonged. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, that is the status update of where we are on this very, very unfortunate development that has shocked the country and the world. I pray that we will all give the family the dignity they deserve, even as they struggle to bear with the moment of grief. We are also requesting the ODM party, which is represented in this committee, and also at the grassroots, to support and work together with our security agencies in the normal party manner to make sure that there is order and dignified mourning to ensure that we do not have any incidents that could disrupt this very important moment in the history of our country. So we want to request the ODM leadership and the branch leadership in all the places which are concerned to help us and work with our security agencies to make sure there is order. And I am informed that the party has structures, and we are confident those structures will support and supplement what the security agencies will be doing. That is all for now. We will have further briefings every day between now and then, and perhaps tomorrow evening we will have another briefing at the end of the day. I want to give now this chance to the co-chair of this committee, the Honorable Dr. Oburu Odinga, Senator for Siaya County, to say a few remarks, and then we conclude this briefing. Thank you.
Fellow Kenyans, I take this opportunity also to join you in mourning your leader. We are mourning and also celebrating the life of a great leader. As I had told you before, I informed you that he was well and kicking about, and he will soon be back to the country. That was not a lie, it was the truth. He was very well until last night. I spoke to him. He was vibrant, up and kicking. It is only unfortunate this morning that he suffered shock, which is suspected after the postmortem to be heart attack. But we are not just mourning, we are also celebrating the life of our great leader. I don't have strength to speak much now. What the DP has said is what we have discussed and agreed, and I am only praying that our people at this moment behave in a dignified manner. Let us give my brother the dignified burial and send off that he deserved, and I hope there will be peace during this time and reflection on his life. So I thank everybody I don't have to say much.
Thank you very much. I apologize, I left out the name of one committee member, the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport, David Sichir, who is here, is also a member of this committee representing the Cabinet. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
There you have it, a status update of the funeral arrangement of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga that has just been given there by the Deputy President, who is also the chair of the National Funeral Committee, where he outlined also who are in this committee from the beginning, that we have a committee that is drawn from different facets of the government. We have that being co-chaired also by the Senator of Siaya. This is the brother to Raila Odinga, and you heard him speak. We have also the cabinet secretaries there, Wycliffe Oparanya of Cooperative and MSMEs. We have also Toipan Atuya of Defense. We have Eden Dual of Health. Also, we had him also just updating and refreshing his memory on what he had left out, that is the cabinet secretary Davis Churchill as well. And it is an elaborate committee that is drawn from the family, the ODM party, the Senate, the National Assembly, and also we do have the secretary to the committee, that is the Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Raymond Molo, and we have also members of the family that we were given the names as well, led there by Elijah and Dr. Joe Agor, amongst others. But one of the fervent wish of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga was he wanted the process to be expedited as you had it, and within 72 hours we'll have the interment of the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga according to his wishes and that of the family. And so we were just also primed that we expected the plane that is airborne right now, it's expected to be landing in Mumbai, and it will actually have a ground time of 2 hours before it circles back to fly back to Nairobi, where it will have a touchdown at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And upon arrival, the casket that has the bearing of that is bearing the body of a late Right Honorable Raila Odinga will be received by the President of the Republic of Kenya, that is Dr. William Ruto, and members of the family, and it will be escorted to the Lee Funeral Home. And at 12 o'clock on the nose, that also Haas will be heading to the parliamentary buildings, and in Parliament there will be a public viewing from 12 to 5 p.m. tomorrow. Also, we advised that for those who are supporting, of course, they are supporters and friends of the family and Raila Odinga, they can also be able to watch the proceedings. There will be the public grieving places that will be created, and that will be announced later, where the venues will be, where you'll have the big screens to just be following the proceedings of what will be happening within the Parliament's precincts of Parliament, and every other update that is coming from the committee that will be given every day according to the Deputy President. After viewing, the body will return to Lee Funeral Home, and on Friday we'll have a state funeral, and service will be held at the Nyayo National Stadium. We're expecting dignitaries and VVIPs from outside the country, and that will be conducted in accordance with the state protocol, and that is also that which would be befitting to the stature of the fallen hero. And then the body will be moved to Karen home for overnight stay, and on Saturday the body will leave for public viewing in Kisumu City, and from there the body will travel by road to Bondo, and we also were given the burial day, which will be on Sunday. The burial will take place on Sunday, And that will be conducted according to the tradition of the ACK Church, where Raila Odinga was a laity and he fellowshipped in that particular church. So we've also heard from the Deputy President just saying that we are asking for the ODM party to support and work together, or they are asking for the ODM party to support and work together with the Security Committee to make sure that everything flows seamlessly and there are no interruptions and encumbrances. And that is just what we had from the status update. Remember, this will be happening every day until the final day of internment. And we continue to receive the outpourings of condolences, just to give one or two here that we do have. And I just want to read one from that I just received as well from, this is the family of, that is the Nyaga's family. The letter, we have the late Joe Nyaga, who was also in the Pentagon. We had the family saying, let me just read that a bit for you. It says, my dear friend, it says, our heartfelt condolences to Mama Ida. This is from Ambassador Mary Kimulu, who is a sister, the elder sister to, of course, the Nyagas there, the brothers. It says, our heartfelt condolences to Mama Ida Odinga, the immediate family, and the entire Odinga family on the profound loss of your beloved, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that is Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. May Almighty God grant his soul eternal rest and surround you all with his divine comfort and strength during this difficult time. The passing of such a visionary and selfless leader is not only a great loss to his family, but also to Kenya, the entire continent, and even beyond Africa. My family, of the late Jeremiah Nyaga and late Pascal Kimulu, join you in mourning this remarkable statesman. Our sincere sympathy and prayers are with you all. And we have also a message there from Honorable Norman Nyaga, who's a former Member of Parliament of Kamukunji. He says, it is with profound sorrow and heavy heart that I extend my deepest condolences on passing of our dear comrade Raila Odinga. To the family, please know that Raila's memory is forever etched in the history of our nation. May the Almighty grant you strength and comfort during this difficult time. May his revolutionary spirit live on, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. That is from Honorable Norman Nyaga, who is a former Member of Parliament of Kamukunji. We shall be, of course, beaming some of his tributes that have been flowing in just from the country and without as well. And before we head there, I just want to introduce our panelists who are here. I know it's been such a heavy day for Kenya today. We saw people really coming out in force in Bondo, in Kibra. People have been speaking very eloquently about his sacrifice as a statesman, you know, and his spirit in, as I mentioned earlier, consolidating democracy and deepening democracy in this country. I just want to extend also a hearty welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us, Senator Okongo Mogeni, the Senator of Nyamira. We have also Jennifer Shamala, who's an advocate of the High Court and also a former Member of Parliament. And we have also the Senator of Kisii as well, Senator Richard Onyonka. It's been a heavy day, taxing day, and we've heard from the brother as well, Buru Odinga, saying that it's a moment of mourning, but as well as a moment of celebration. It's a mixed feeling. You saw him so subdued there and, you know, slow of words of what really to say. I just want to hear from you. Let me just begin with Jennifer. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very difficult moment, I think, for all Kenyans, and especially for me because I knew him personally, and I knew his extended family personally, and went through their heartache and their joys. And so it's a difficult day, very, very difficult day. It came as a shock. And I want to extend my sincerest condolences to Ida, to the children, to the extended family, to every one of them, and to the people of Kenya, all the people of Kenya who are mourning. Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Congo Mogeni.
Yeah, Dibal.
Where were you today, especially when this news broke out today?
Yeah, I received the news before confirmation early in the morning as I was driving to town, and somebody just called me and told me there is a word going around that Mzee has rested. Are you aware? I said, no, I haven't heard of it, but maybe I could confirm. And definitely I tried calling the leadership of ODM within the Senate, and I got confirmation from Senator Stuart Mazayo that indeed it was true, that Mzee had rested. And he had told me they had talked yesterday. He was in good shape, but apparently he passed on early morning in India. So that's how I received the news, and what followed was, of course, a cancellation of many activities that were set to happen today in honor of the life of this icon, Raila Odinga, whom I knew personally. I've known Raila for many years. From the dates I was chair of Law Society of Kenya, when I served as the head of anti-corruption, and into my political journey. It is Raila who personally interested me to run for the seat of Senate on ODM. And before then, the first time I had a personal chat with Raila was in 2007. We had never met. I'd never called him. I didn't have his number. But about 30 minutes after I'd been elected to lead the Law Society of Kenya as chair, I received a phone call, and when I picked it, he told me, "This is Raila Odinga. I'm just calling to congratulate you." And I mean, I was shocked. I was like, "Are you at Intercontinental?" Because that's where the results were announced. He told me, "No, I'm in West Kenya, but I've received the news, and I just said I should call you and congratulate you and wish you well." It was amazing because I had never interacted with him, and I didn't know that being leader of Law Society would interest somebody of that stature. So on my own behalf, on behalf of my family, my wife, whom anytime Raila visited me, used to share jokes with her and say, "Why did you leave Luo men to come and look for this kissy boy?"
Your wife is Luo?
Yeah, and she could respond and say, "It's because I found the most loving man in the highlands. That's why I went to Kisii." Yeah. So really, I want to pass my message of condolences to the family, to Mama Ida, to the 3 children, Winnie, Rosemel, and Junior. I know the pain of losing a father, and to the other siblings, I know they were very, very close with the Senator Oburu. Anytime he wanted to make a query about Raila Odinga, the most trusted source used to be Oburu. If Oburu told you that Raila is out of the country, you don't question, you don't doubt. So I knew they were very, very, very close. And of course, to our other colleague, Ruth, to the people of Kibra, to the people of Siaya, people of Bondo, the entire Kenya, the entire East African region, the entire African continent, and the world. We have lost, as President Ruto put it, a man who is just stands alone in a generation. It's not easy to find another Raila Odinga. So we joined the family in offering our prayers that the Almighty God will give them comfort and the fortitude to bear the loss as they mourn the passing on of a dear father, a brother, and a political father to many, many of us. May the Almighty God rest the soul of Raila Amolo Odinga in eternal peace.
Indeed.
Yeah.
May he rest in eternal peace. And as Shakespeare will also say, whence cometh another? Whence cometh another? We've seen in this epic of time such a man that has given out his soul for this particular country. And in the longest time, just as you've mentioned, generations, we may not see such a man who so unceasingly and, you know, very self-effacing, humble, moving the needle as far as political scene is concerned. I'd love to hear from Richard Onyonka as well, because you've walked this journey from the go-getting with Raila Odinga. You've been in the trenches, you've been in the cells, because we want to peg our thoughts also on the Raila the liberator, Raila the peacemaker, Raila the enigma. We can begin from the liberation and also what you really suffered in that particular moment in the trenches with Raila Odinga.
I think on my part, I want to say that if you look and try and analyze Raila in a show for about even 1 hour, there may not be enough time.
Indeed.
And yet, indeed, when we comprehend and analyze his existence, like Senior Counsel Mogeni has said, all of us have met Raila from very different angles. If Senior Counsel Madam Shamala talks about her experience, and I hope she will, it's a very interesting experience. Mine was very simple. I had just come back from my high school. And I then got to Kisii, of course. That's where my home was, and I found my father was running for elections. And then by accident, I'm told, you drive this car, run somewhere, there are people waiting there. So as I get to a place called Nyakwaya Hotel, I then bump into Raila. It was just a petrol station. So I look, I was driving a 504. Actually, I remember left-hand drive car. So I look, then he walks. He says, hello, how are you? So, it's fine. And you know, that time, everybody feared Raila, including me. All right? Even though, if you take that story and fast forward it. He then remembered our issue when we were arrested. The university students who were taken to committee. Before later, our charges were actually dropped under 87. We were then, Raila was picked up at night when we were in the cells. And I always remember that sound. You know that sound in the movies where somebody's walking on stairs? Katang, katang, but you could hear like there are 3 people or 4. You hear this, ta-ta, ta-ta, but they're walking on the corridor. And like me, I was in cell 2. I think it was 2E or 4E. Then right across was Murade. It was really wonderful at that time because Murade is the one who would give us most of the information. And other people were there, Kibisu Kabatesi, Musalia had been released, so we were left trying to figure out what to do. And that whole day, I think it took about 2 days because we didn't know where he was taken. For us, we concluded the guy is going to be hanged. So after about 1 week, the information came out that he had now been placed under detention. And that's when he was put in detention, that's when our charges were reduced from sedition, and then there was also, you know, all these charges which were laid. Then the government dropped them on 87. By that time, we had actually been in the cells the whole period, from the time we were arrested until when we were released. It was about 2 years, 9 months. It was close to 3 years. Then later now, I meet him. And like Honorable Kongo has said, Raila was somebody whom, if you met, the first impression was that my first impression, I thought he was a thug because he had the beard and, he was always dressed heavy. So in my little mind, I was like, how do I even interact with this guy? But then he now started the conversation. He asked me about my father. I said, actually, I'm campaigning for him. And then he said, how is Jaramogi doing? I said, here it's Kanu. My father's been in Kanu for so long. The race is very tight. And we'll wait and see. But right now, Kanu is doing well in the constituency because we've been running around, dishing out T-shirts, those things. Then he left. Actually, before he left, he told me, no, here's my number. All right? Call me. And that time, he had a mobile. So I saw a huge thing, He told me this number, you take it. And then he left. The next time I find him is when I want to be now the member of parliament for Kituru Chache constituency. And then I met him. I'll not talk about the details. Then later, I win the elections. Then at that time, I had actually been ringed out by ODM. And the ticket I had was PDP. So I got a briefcase party. I then went to Kisii, begged people, they voted for me. And then I came to parliament. So as I'm coming, my greatest enemy is Raila and the team that was in ODM. And I had no business with them, and I didn't want to see all of them. Then Charity Ngilu comes to my mother's house, tells me, young man, we know you're upset, but we are going to nominate and select Merende as the speaker. Kanu, Kibaki's side has 100 members of parliament, and our opposition members, we are 100. We only have one party that we don't know where it is, and it's PDP. And you are the MP. Oh, I screamed. Me? Do what? For you people? Hey, you're joking. After 2 days, Charity again came and spoke with me. A gentleman called Engineer Rege, you remember him? He was an MP also and an assistant minister. Came and spoke to me with my brother and said, you know what, this thing is about the country. If Kibaki wins the speaker's position, we are done. So anyway, then they tagged me with Haniri. One of the people who was really very close with Raila also. So Senator Haniri followed me. He was holding my coat. Yes. And then I voted. Of course, Marende won. And then very, very shockingly, Raila called me and said, I'll make you an assistant minister for foreign affairs. Out of PDP. So then I'm appointed, and then I begin to interact with him, and I was shocked. The man listened. He has an incredible institutional memory. He was unassuming. If I told him I was Richard Nyonka, even when the fact that he knew my dad, he would even now stretch it further to my grandfather. And then he would talk about my grandfather's grandmother, who came from Nyakach. He goes into those. So you are like, this man, how much does he know? Then, of course, we went into government. And the biggest thing that happened during that time was for him. And Kenyans really don't pick this Raila story. When we were going to Somalia, it was Raila and Kibaki who sat. And the person given the responsibility was Raila making the decision to go to Somalia. When I was sent to Somalia, I was actually sent as a deputy minister of foreign affairs, but I was the ODM representative. And at that time, Wetangula was really wonderful to me. He was, of course, on the government side, but he would let me participate, and they would tell me, no, that one, don't do it like that, this one, do. So then we went to Somalia, opened, finished, came back. And then there was a problem with Weta when he was in the assembly. You remember the issue of Japan and other things? Then Weta had to
Japan embassy.
Yes. Weta gave me a note verbal as it was Kibaki asked him if he could stay out of government for about 3 months. So I'm the one who used to run around. Then Weta sent me to Raila to negotiate South Sudan when the comprehensive peace agreement was being signed. You remember? I know Kenyans forget. I went with over 100 members of parliament to Juba, where we went and campaigned for the referendum. But what is important is not those visits. There was a decision to be made about whether Sudan should actually become an independent African state. And it relied completely on Raila's choice. Kibaki really didn't care much because John Garang was already arguing that Sudan should not secede. But after Garang dies and Raila saw the issues, we sat about it, and that time President Kibaki asked him, what's your call? Raila said, allow them to get independence. Because right now, if you were to reverse at that time, then Kenya would have gone into the Western Sahara case. South Sudan would have been on abeyance. They would never have elections. They would never, unless again you went for another referendum. So he allowed it, we went, finished, and life moved on. So my general perspective, of course, I've left so much because then there was opposition politics.
Indeed, yes.
Then in Kisii that time, the most unpopular person was Raila. Why? Because he was talking about social justice. He was talking about fairness. He was talking about equity. Those things that are about good governance. And yet in reality, the mindset and the cultural, social, ethnic thinking we had is that those are things you actually do only when you're advantaged. And when you're in government, you help your clan, then your tribe. Then so Raila began to really demystify the arguments about why Kenya needed to change. Then of course, fast forward, we have yes and no. We join the trip, we finish, we win, we go for elections. And then Raila is now declared the winner. The most shocking revelation to me, which is the last point I'll make before I hand over to my sister. We are at Pentagon House, which was around Kilimani. You have the we have won elections, MPs and other people.
Yes.
We have now gone to see what is really, and it was very dangerous because guys were killing each other, there was gunshots everywhere.
Yes.
As we go to Pentagon House, every single person, I remember it was about, not Najib, I think it could have, Najib, Madam, the former governor of Machakos, Mama Ngilu.
Charity Ngilu.
Yes. And I can't remember a third person, but today I confirmed that Franklin Bett was with us. And everybody told Raila, let's fight. And there are certain people we are going to kill. And you are not going to be a coward. In fact, 90% of the people there insulted Raila. Everybody was there, except Charity and I think Najib. There were about 2 or 3 people. There were about 14 people in that room. And Raila stood and looked at everybody in the eye. And that's when, for me, I said, this guy is a bit different. He said, those people that you want me to go and kill are actually Kenyans. And some of you have mentioned that go and bring the boys from Kibera so that they can come and kill these other ethnic community that has taken our leadership and everything. And Raila said, if any of you want power, just know this, if you don't have the instruments of power, you are just going to have a bloodbath. So let's take our losses. We know what has happened. We understand the scenario. The courts have pronounced themselves. Let's move on. And everybody shut up. Some people walked out, some banged the doors, and that was it. To me, that is when I actually understood that Raila was a statesman.
He always took the higher road.
That there is always the higher moral ground. There is a higher position a leader must take.
Indeed.
And it cannot be for self-aggrandizement. Even when Raila has been accused of those things, even when certain things have been said about him, I will tell Kenyans, for me, my conscience has always been clear. Yes, he's a human being. Yes, he'll make mistakes. Yes, we disagree on various issues. He himself has said he's happy that in ODM we are able to disagree. But one of the facts that I accept is that Raila Amolo Odinga singularly changed the destiny of this country by either twisting, using political power, influence, and sometimes his charm to make sure we finally ended up getting a new constitution, which is revered and regarded, for us to have devolution, which was an impossibility because President Kibaki didn't want devolution. He felt with those World Bank reports that we are actually going to devolve corruption and we are going to create small tin pot dictators within the county governments. And Raila said, we've been doing this for 50 years. why don't we just take the money away from the center to the villages? And as far as I'm concerned, even with the challenges that we have, I think that is something that he exceptionally accomplished for Kenyan people.
Thank you, thank you. And of course also you can see the picture of the Pentagon 5 there, what you were talking about. We have Najib Balala.
Yes.
They were your youthful faces, the chubby cheeks also.
Oh, yeah.
Of, if my director may just pick it up so that we can see it there. Dr. William Ruto.
Yes.
Yes, then Musalia Mudavadi, who is now airborne to India.
Yes.
And then we have Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yes.
Najib Balala. And also we have this.
Then there was Charity.
This is
Joe Nyaga?
Joe Nyaga there.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that Joe Nyaga. Charity.
Yeah, the other guy who said no was Nyaga. Yeah.
The other guy who said no was Nyaga as well.
Yes.
Right.
So the team, and the team was, I mean, I sat in that room, and that is, I think, for me, the first time I understood what a difficult decision is by any leader. And indeed, a leader sometimes must tell his friends and the people who support him 100% that there are certain limits and red lines we don't cross. Because once you cross that line, then you have no return gear. Yes. So for me, that changed my view of who Raila became. Then again, when I had been given the job, now traveling with him, I would either go ahead of him or behind him. He knew nearly everybody. You go to Italy, you meet Raila, the Prime Minister, his brother. You travel to Nigeria, like he took me to Nigeria, and you meet, that time, Dangote, Ibru, you know, the big boys of Nigeria. Raila was like a buddy. And then later now for me, as something that I really didn't understand about him, is that I quit on Arsenal 15 years ago. He was with Arsenal.
You're still enough for Arsenal fan.
He was, he's been with Arsenal until I think the way he has passed. And I think the saddest thing about that narrative, or that example I'm using, is that his dream would have been to make sure that Kenyan football goes to the level of Nigeria, goes to the level of Mali, and yet we have miserable.
And he was a big supporter, avid fan of Harambee Stars. We saw him showing up also for the tournaments. Thank you very much. Let's just come to, is the little moments that you really talk about that Raila really showed up, you know, the little moments that you'll feel, oh, really, he's really sunk this low to just come and be at the same level with me, to reach me, just calling me to congratulate me because I've actually garnered this chairmanship of LSK. I'm seeing you, I'd retrieve a picture of you also, Jennifer here. The little moments that we're talking about, Raila Odinga, and I saw the caption there that by then he had actually flown to come for your birthday party. Yeah, if my director would just pick it up, that is now the Raila that we didn't really know, you know, for the birthday party. Can you just tell us, I can see you, the unflappable smile of Raila Odinga and yours as well.
And Ida's in the background with her glasses there. Yes. They were very upset.
Oh, Ida there.
Yes.
Okay.
He said, I thought we're coming for an engagement party. What do you mean this is a birthday party? So, but anyway, we ended up having a really wonderful time. And our relationship with the Odinga family started very close during the Kenya Industrial Estate.
Yes.
Which was set up for the promotion of local industries. And my parents had a factory that dealt with hosiery called Haraka Hosiery and Elastic. And right next door was Spectre, which is still moving and alive today and is run by Israel Agina, who is a close cousin and relative of the late Raila Odinga. And I remember that in 1982, we went to have lunch, my mom, Uncle Agina, because that's what I call him, and myself, and my dad was permanent secretary for foreign affairs. And they were to travel to Libya that weekend with the late His Excellency Daniel Toretich Arap Moi. And Uncle Agina was alluding to something and not any moment suggesting that they were ever involved in the 82 coup, because they were not. But they obviously in those days, now that we're older, we tend to hear rumors. And I don't think, telling my mom, I don't think, Japheth should travel, this and that. What do you mean you don't think he should travel? He's going with the president. The children are going to a party on Saturday night in Westlands. I don't think that's a good idea. long and short of it is we went to the party in Westlands on that Saturday night. We were brought back. And then a doctor, one of these foreign doctors who were working for the Kenya government and lived near State House, we had those old, those lovely homes that are...
Silverstein.
No, it wasn't doctor. He was a Pakistani doctor.
Okay.
He called and he said, I can hear gunshots. Very early in the morning, we were up and about, and this is now Sunday morning, and they're ready, you know, we're planning to go to Libya and whatever. And of course, the rest is history. The two pilots or whoever they were that took the planes to Uganda. And, but fast forward to the detention years of Raila, the very personal anecdotes is that while my father was a PS and Uncle Agina's been in detention, Raila is in detention in and out, we would have these big parties that you do for ambassadors and VIPs. But my mom always invited the children and the wives, but to put them in a corner, you know, because nobody would recognize them. And my father would be like, he's a government official under the late His Excellency President Daniel Arap Moi. Who are those people? She would be like, they're just some people from industrial estate, my friends, the workers. So that was our connection, you know, that we didn't break that link with Raila. So to me, he was very much like my father, really, you know, because we kept that. I'm so grateful to the Almighty Elohim that we managed to separate the politics from the real friendships, which stand till today. So I was heartbroken when I got that news. I mean, I think you called me first, then my mom is on the phone, because they were like brother and sisters.
Wow, wow. It's good just to get, you know, other side, the flip side of him that many Kenyans do not really know. And I want just to come back to Senior Counsel Okongo Mogeni just briefly before we have our stories. We can see from this picture as well that you were here also with the opposition leader of Uganda. This is Kesi Besigye, Okongo Mogeni. You might just also just refresh.
I hope that picture not put me into trouble within 7 years.
I'm sure it won't.
But is he out? Is he out of Islamas?
No, I think
he's still inside.
He's still inside. Yeah, that was actually my home in Nyamira.
Okay.
Yeah, I had hosted Raila for lunch with Besigye. They were in the company of Oparanya, and then we were later joined by governor of Nyamira, Nyaribo. And you know, that is the other life of Raila, that he could mix very freely, and it would be so normal, you know. What people would tell you about Raila and the Raila who would be a father figure to you were two different you know, people. You can see there, that was in Nyamira, and we sat down to take a photo. You know, if you tell somebody in Nigeria that is Raila Amolo Odinga, just paying a visit to a senator, and we had a meal. I remember that day we had fish with brown ugali and spaghetti, and Raila was at peace with it. It was he enjoyed the lunch, and after that he said, now we don't even need to go. We were meant to fly back to Nairobi. He said, Okongo, you know, after this very nice lunch, now we don't need to go to Nairobi. He said, if you don't mind, why can't we go to Kisumu? We spent, were you there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
You know, he said, why can't we go and spend in Kisumu? And then we'll go to Nairobi. The following day, and you know, he had a home at the hills.
Yes.
In Kisumu. So in the morning, we were called very early, I think, with Richard, and they said, now we are ready to take off to Nairobi. I mean, I know some leaders in the political class who would never really walk into your home and have a meal.
He was human.
It will be drama. It will be a lot of drama. People will be, advanced teams will be sent in advance taste the food.
48
Yes.
every day.
But, detectors around the house. Phone baggings, if other bags to try and...
But that was Raila.
Yeah,
and that was not when I was chair of Law Society, those days, I don't know what has happened to Law Society nowadays.
Nobody knows.
Those days, we used to have Law Society dinners. When you win as chair, you would invite your guest of honor. And you'll be sure that will be the headline news the following day. So you really had to be very careful who your guest will be. And that was the first time I had a very close contact with Raila. And I was shocked when he walked in and I ushered him to the high table. And the waiter came around and said, "What will you have?" He just told him, "Get me some juice, apple juice." Before then I thought Raila will walk in with some special chef, his hand will select. And he mixed with us, When I invited him to serve, he just rose. We walked to the serving area at Intercontinental Hotel and took the food, came back and sat. When we went for dessert, we walked. He led a very, very simple life. Raila was so human. He was so human. When you mix with him, you feel like it's a father-son relationship.
Indeed.
And to cap it all, when we were told now it's time to open the dance, he was there with Ida, because he also loved...
And he loved dancing.
He loved dancing, he loved music. So it was really a joy to have, Raila. And you can see that was during the campaigns.
You're consulting here, the strategist, the chief. What is the next move?
That was one of the rallies we held. I think that was at Kitutu, Rigoma, the 2022 campaign. As we were drumming support in that meeting, I think we had Matiang'i and others. The tension of candidates running for gubernatorial, senatorial, women. And he wanted me to invite, those who are in office, those who are seeking to unseat. And Honorable Shamala Nunja will tell you that's never an easy task. So I think he was a good man. And after the elections, I once told him, Jacob, you got very good votes from Kisii. Why can't you find time? We go back and say thank you to the people of Nyamira. And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The best way would be we get a church, we attend service, and you can make a donation, to the church." And he said, "Why not Okongo?" We attended service with him in Kitutu constituency, and he gave a very good donation to the Catholic Church. So to just demystify, those who have always said that Raila did not have time for church, I think those are people who didn't interact closely with Raila, those who didn't understand him. As I read somewhere, he's an Anglican.
Exactly.
Okay? He's an Anglican. When you mix closely with Raila, you also realize, just like your father, he was also a dear father to his children. And,
Indeed.
And over and above everything else, he was a husband. If you sat with Raila and Ida, you would see that the conversation is not from Prime Minister to the wife, it was from husband to a wife. There was a lot to learn if you really spent time and interacted with Raila Amolo Odinga. And then he never gave up. My wife was reminding me today what I told her in 2013. I could not imagine that Raila would collect himself and still accept, the presidency of Uhuru Kenyatta and talk to the nation smiling. I asked him, how does he manage this? Because we all, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, the jury's out there, we all thought that he had been robbed and he would be so bitter. But, he collected himself, accepted the defeat, and within a few years, he was again preparing to have another stab at presidency in 2017. Just imagine. That was Raila Odinga.
Right. Let's just leave it at that. We of course remind Kenyans of what has been happening today, and then we'll start with you also.
Okay, that's fine.
Senator Richard Onyonka. Thank you very much. Of course, we can hear from our panelists. This is such an iconic figure that we've lost: a doting father, a loving husband, and a patriotic Kenya, a statesman the country continues to mourn. And just to give you a tender reminder, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be laid to rest this Sunday, in line with his personal wish to be buried within 72 hours of his demise. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki confirmed that the government has agreed to honor Raila's wish, while also taking into account family and national protocols. As preparations continue, arrangements have been finalized to fly the body back from India tonight, with a series of state events set to follow.